Jesus tells those of us who are truly following him, he says, you will be hated for my name's sake. They will hate you because they hated me. And that's one way to know if you truly know God. If you're truly obeying God, you're going to receive hate from your family members, from so-called friends, co-workers. They're going to hate you because of what God is having you saying. We're called to be a witness. If you're not being hated, if you're not being a witness, if you're not crying out against sin, then you don't know God. And I'm just basically telling you what God said. I always say when I get to heaven, I just want to run up to Jeremiah and just hug him so tight. Because Jeremiah went through a lot. When God called Jeremiah, well, he said he chose him from the womb, called him to be a prophet from the womb. Jeremiah was a young man when he actually stepped into his calling, when God was using him. God told him that he couldn't be married, he couldn't have no children. He told him flat out. And he told him whenever he told him to say something to him, basically he said, you better say it or I'm going to confound you right in front of him. So Jeremiah had a tough job as a young man. And whenever Jeremiah would tell the people of God now, because when you're a witness, that's who that's who God is sending you to. The so-called people of God. To cry loud and spare not. That's who God gonna send you to. Because those are the ones who are basically playing in God's face. And God sees it. So he always sends somebody to warn these people and let these people know that God can see what you're doing. So when Jeremiah began to do that, as a young man, they were threatening to kill him. They was locking him up in jails, throwing him in dungeons. And you got these old wolves in sheep's clothing in these so-called churches. They like to call Jeremiah the crying prophet. All he did was cry and whine. He was a young man. And I can't even imagine what it's like to be hunted down almost and told to your face that you're going to die. I'm going to kill you if you don't stop telling us what thus saith the Lord. He wasn't crying. He was young. He was going through a lot. And one time he told the Lord, I ain't talking no more. I'm done. And then he said, your word is just like fire shut up in my bones. I can't help myself. I got to do what you tell me to do. But I can't imagine what he went through. Because when you truly know the Lord, the people who will hate you the most are those who are claiming to know God. And like today, when I started scrolling through Facebook, all I saw was pictures about church flow and everybody taking their photos. They went to church and they tagging their church, in the post and talking about how good God is. But then you see on the flip side, all these different things they doing and the stuff that come out their mouths. You really get tired of seeing people playing with God. And to be totally honest with you, it's frustrating. I can't stand to see it. I can't stand to see it. If you're not being hated, if you're not being a witness, you don't know God. So when I see y'all talking about church flow and talking about how good God is and sharing these different posts of other people talking about the Lord, It is so irritating. But Jeremiah, after the Lord told Jeremiah to go and stand outside the church, this is what I want you to tell him. After Jeremiah had done talked and told the people what thus saith the Lord, they talked about how they was going to kill him. Jeremiah got so tired of that foolishness that Jeremiah just basically told God, I want to see when their destruction comes. I want to witness it, God. And he began to talk about how he wanted their children to watch their children be destroyed, how their women to be widows. That man was tired. All he was trying to do was warn the people. All he was trying to do was tell the people what thus saith the Lord. And they wanted to kill him. Well, I thank God that I'm in a different time, period. But I can only imagine the things that you all say when I tell you that you don't know God. I'm just telling you what God's saying. You cannot love this word. You cannot be lukewarm. You can't. I'm just telling you what God's saying. And the Bible says, no, you may not be trying to kill me, but hate. God said that's just like the sin of murder. So the hate that you have, you're actually committing murder. And you don't even realize it. But just looking at all the stuff, church flow and taking your pictures, you got to tag. Why you got to do all of that? Why you got to let people know that you went to church today? And why you got to do all of that? I don't wish what Jeremiah wished on them people. Again, because I'm not being thrown in dungeons. And I don't wish on y'all what I know is coming. I pray that your eyes open up soon. I don't wish it on you. But sometimes I just say, Lord, I just can't wait till that day comes when their eyes open and they realize that they never knew you and that somebody was warning them, telling them that they didn't know you. I kind of wait for that day to come. That's when you're going to know the wheat from the tare. Because when all these things start happening, the people who know the Lord, you shouldn't be, oh, what's going on? Oh, you shouldn't be panicking. And sometimes I look forward to that day when y'all finally realize that God was just trying to use me to warn you that you don't know him. Stop playing with God. He's a holy God. All your church flow and taking your pictures and you got to show people that you've been to church and stop playing with God. I hate seeing you all do. It bothers me. But I don't want to do like Jeremiah, want to see your destruction. But then again, I wasn't going through what Jeremiah was going through. I can understand him saying that. Because some people was literally trying to kill him and hitting him and beating on him and throwing him in dungeons. He was a young man. And he was just saying, I'm just telling y'all what God is telling me to say. But I want to read from Jeremiah chapter 7. Where the Lord told Jeremiah, go stand outside that church. And this is what I want you to tell him. Stand outside the church now. Who you think he's speaking to if he told Jeremiah to stand outside the church? Y'all better stop playing with God. Jeremiah chapter 7, starting at verse 1. And this is reading from the New King James Version so y'all can understand it a little better. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord saying, stand in the gate of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word and say, hear the word of the Lord, all you of Judah who enter in at these gates to worship the Lord. Basically, hear the word of the Lord, all of you so-called Christians. Church flow, got to take your photos. Hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Stop playing with me, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Do not trust in these lying words, these pastors, saying the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, if you do not oppress the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and do not shed innocent blood in this place, or walk after other gods to your hurt, verse 7, then I will cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. See, Jeremiah had been telling them that if y'all don't get it together, y'all going to be removed. He's going to scatter you. The Babylonians going to come get you and put you into captivity. But if you do what God tell you to do, you ain't got to worry about going through that. And this is what I tell y'all. If y'all obey God, you ain't got to worry about going through the tribulation period. But y'all are not listening. Verse 8, behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, commit adultery, swear falsely, burn incense to Baal? I seen somebody posting on Facebook talking about they just ordered, just ordered some sage. That is demonic. That is satanic. God don't need no help. If you know God, what you doing burning sage? The Holy Spirit don't need no help. What is sage going to do? But see, it's stuff like this that cause y'all to hate me. She always thinks, well, I'm going to burn my sage. I don't care what she say. And watch destruction come upon you. Says commit adultery, swear falsely, lying, gossiping, spreading false rumors, burn incense to Baal. That's what burning sage is. And walk after other gods, these little g gods, these celebrities, these sports and entertainment people. Those are other gods. Walk after other gods whom you do not know. Y'all don't know LeBron. People talk like they know this man. And it just, it like amazes me. Verse 10. And then have the audacity, after you done hung out all night, everybody downtown on the street at that little club, that little reggae, whatever, everybody hanging out and doing all they want to do. Verse 10, and then come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations. You think you can come in the house of God and then live your life any kind of way you want to, and then come in the house of the Lord and say you delivered. Once saved, always saved. I'm good. Has this house, which is called by my name, become a den of thieves in your eyes? Behold, even I, have seen it, saith the Lord. God knows who knows him. And y'all get so upset when I tell you that you don't know God. You don't. You're not being hated. All of your family loves you. All of your friends. Everybody popping up in your comments and, girl, that's good. And prom photos. And everybody just getting along. Jesus said you will be hated for my name's sake. If you're not telling these so-called people who claim to know the Lord, if you're not telling them that they don't know God, then God does not know you. This is another warning. Verse 12. But go now to my place, which was in Shiloh. It's funny, we had a church. I don't know if they still got it. It was a church here named Shiloh. God talked about what he did to Shiloh and what he did to Bethel. Two churches right here in Jacksonville, Florida, Shiloh and Bethel. And they're both corrupt. Which is in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first. And see what I did to it because of the wickedness of my people Israel. And now, because you have done all these works, saith the Lord, and I spoke to you. This is how God speaks to you when he sends somebody to warn you. That's him speaking to you. When he's using me to tell you all that you don't know him. This is him speaking to you. And he's going to remind y'all. I tell you all the time, God is going to remind you that he warned you. When you warned me, when I sent my servant and you refused to listen. And now, because you have done all these works, saith the Lord, and I spoke to you, rising up early and speaking, but you did not hear. And I called you, but you did not answer. Therefore, verse 14, I will do to this house which is called by my name, in which you trust, church flow, and to this place which I gave to you and your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh, and I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all the brethren, the whole posterity of Ephraim. I told y'all, when y'all go all that weeping and crying and hollering during the tribulation period, it ain't gonna do you no good. God said He gonna cast you right out of His sight. You're gonna have to go through that time period. In verse 16, therefore, look what He told Jeremiah. Therefore, do not pray for this people, nor lift up a cry or prayer for them, nor make intercession to me, for I will not hear you. God told Jeremiah, don't even pray for them. Don't even pray for them. He said, because I'm not going to hear your prayers, because I've been warning them. I've been rising up early. That means sending people, warning you that you don't know me and you're not listening. Therefore, don't pray for them, Angela. Don't pray for them. Don't even lift up a cry or a prayer for them. Don't even make an intercession to me, for I will not hear you. So my prayer is that God opens your eyes so that you could be saved before it's too late. But if God is saying to me what He said to Jeremiah, He's not even hearing my prayer on your behalf. Boy, this is deep. Now listen to Jeremiah, because Jeremiah, after you read further on in the book of Jeremiah, on how they told him what all they was going to do to him and how they was going to kill him and all of this stuff, Jeremiah just got real frustrated. Jeremiah chapter 18. And I'm going to start at verse 1 I'm going to start at verse 18 through the 23rd verse. Listen to what Jeremiah said, because he got so sick and tired of warning the people, so-called people of God. He got so sick and tired of warning them, and they hated him for just warning them, just telling them what God was telling him to tell them. Throwing him in jail, hitting him, slapping him, throwing him in dungeons. Jeremiah got sick of it. And this is what Jeremiah said. Verse 18 of chapter 18. Jeremiah said, then they say, come and let us devise plans against Jeremiah. Now this is the man that's telling them what God say. For the law shall not perish from the priest. What he's saying ain't true. What Angela's saying ain't true. I know God. My sage is working. I don't care nothing about what she say. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to do my church flow. I'm going to take my photos. I'm going to still hang out. God know my heart. For the law shall not perish from the priest, nor counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let us attack him with the tongue. Let's talk about him like a dog. Let's talk about her like a dog. She crazy anyway. Y'all know how she was before she called herself getting saved. She thought she knew everything. All she do is run her mouth and make these videos and try to show off and act like she know God. God hear what you're saying. They said, come, let us attack him with the tongue. And let us not give heed to any of his words. Ain't nobody listening to her. Child boo. I don't be listening to them videos. I don't listen to nothing. Somebody tell me or text me and say, girl, you heard that video? You heard that last video? Child boo, I don't be listening to her. And let us not give heed to any of his words. Verse 19. This is Jeremiah speaking. Give heed to me, O Lord, and listen to the voice of those who contend with me. Shall evil be repaid for good? For they have dug a pit for my life, Remember that I stood before you to speak good for them, to turn away your wrath from them. Verse 21. Therefore, this is Jeremiah talking to the Lord now, because Jeremiah is sick of their foolishness. And I honestly am sick of y'all foolishness too. Every time I see y'all church flow, y'all not listening to nothing. Jeremiah say, therefore, deliver up their children to the famine. Let their children starve. And pour out their blood. By the force of the sword, let them be killed. Let their wives become widows and bereaved of their children. Let their men be put to death, their young men be slain by the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses when you bring a troop suddenly upon them. For they have dug a pit for me to take me and hidden snares for my feet. They have devised wickedness against me, God, to kill me. And all I have done was told them what you told me to tell them. It gets frustrating. Every time I see y'all just church flow and ain't listening to nothing. You still think you saved. You still think you know the Lord. But I ain't going to say what Jeremiah is saying, because I ain't have to go through none of that stuff. Ain't none of y'all slapping me. Ain't none of y'all talking about throwing me in a dungeon. But God hear your words. Jeremiah say in verse 22, let a cry be heard from their houses. You know what that means? When somebody get that notice that somebody died, somebody come to your door, and all you can hear now, hollering and screaming, the neighbors hearing you hollering and screaming. Jeremiah said, let a cry be heard from their houses when you bring a troop suddenly upon them. Suddenly, that's out of tribulation period. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. It's going to happen. For they have dug a pit to take me and hidden snares for my feet. Verse 23, yet, Lord, you know all their counsel, which is against me. God knows everything that y'all saying about me, especially those of you in my family. God knows just how much y'all hate me. Oh, don't nobody hate you. It's love or hate. If you talk about me, if you say things that you don't know, if you talk about how much you ain't going to listen, she thinks she know everything, that's hate. And God hears it. Verse 23 again. Yet, Lord, you know all their counsel which is against me to slay me. Provide no atonement for their iniquity, nor blot out their sin from your sight. But let them be overthrown before you. Deal thus with them in the time of your anger. Jeremiah was sick of it, because all he was trying to do is tell people what the Lord's saying. I'm just telling y'all what God's saying. God says that if you're not hated for his name's sake, then he don't know you. He don't know you. He does not know you. If you're not going through the same things that Jesus went through, the disciples and the apostles, if you're not being hated, if your family ain't talking, Jesus' own family, they said, go get Jesus. He done lost his mind. His brothers spoke against him. Well, if you call yourself a prophet, won't you go over there in Judea and speak? And they knew that at the time they wanted to kill him in Judea. And his brother was like, well, since you supposed to be such a prophet, go, won't you go and show yourself to everybody? His own family members hated him. When Jesus was on the cross, he told John to take care of his mother, yet he had brothers and sisters. He told John to go take care of his mother. And she lived with John. And she had other children. Why do you think that was so? Jesus said, those who obey God, that's my mother and brother and sisters. So biblically speaking, I don't have any family members. Only those who obey God. And right now, my family, they don't obey God. They have a form of godliness. So my family are the remnant. God says it's only a few that are on that narrow way that leads to life. So I'm going to get to meet my family members when I get to glory. Right about now, I don't have any family members. Biblically speaking, I don't. They claim to know the Lord, all of them, big church members, and all of them in the choirs and all of this stuff. And they don't know God. God sent Jeremiah to go stand in front of the church. Why would he send him to stand in front of the church? Why would God do that? Why he didn't tell him to go and stand outside the club? Those people are already lost. He told us to pray for the lost. Pray for the lost. We ain't got no business standing outside of these clubs. You see all these little so-called street ministry people standing outside the gay clubs and all of that. And them people don't know God. They don't know him. Now, if I run into somebody and we have a conversation and they don't know God, I'm going to tell them. My mail lady, who I believe is a lesbian, and I was asking God, Lord, open a door that I can say something to her. And one day, we always would speak, because, I'm always out in the yard. So we would always speak. But one day, she asked me about my yard. And she said she just wanted to ask somebody who had a nice looking yard, how often do you water your yard? And I began to tell her, and she told me how she had the irrigation system, and sometimes it's hit or miss. And I told her I don't have an irrigation system, but I hand water my lawn. I do it myself. So I ain't got to worry about, certain spots not being hit by the sprinklers. I can just hit all the different spots with my hand. And I forgot how the conversation started. No, I asked her straight out. I asked her, I said, do you know the Lord as your personal Savior? She said, oh, yeah. So I just began to start telling her about all the different things that was about to happen. And I gave her my testimony, told her how I used to be a lesbian and I was involved in drugs and all of these things like this here. And I said, God delivered me and set my soul free. And she asked me, she said, well, what made you decide to change? That's how I knew she didn't know God. But whenever you ask people, are they saved? The answer is always yeah. And I just began to have a conversation with her. I wasn't telling her, no, you need to get your life right. You need to repent. No, we can be a witness to the lost. We don't drill them and you need to repent. You need to get saved. We don't go at them like that. That's not how you witness to the lost. God will always put somebody in your way that you can talk to and have a conversation with and tell them what thus saith the Lord, because these people don't know God. We're not to judge them. God said you don't judge the ones who are on the outside. He said the ones on the inside, that's who you're supposed to be judging. That's why the Lord sent Jeremiah right to the church. He said, stand right outside the gate. Stand right there and say these words. Because God knows that they are the one who are corrupting others, pretending that they know him. And they got other people, especially the young, thinking that you can have the world and you can have God. And God gonna get y'all. All y'all, church flow, posting and tagging your church, knowing that you living like hell, Friday and Saturday and Sunday church flow. You're taking pictures. You say all kind of corrupt things out of your mouth. The word of God said, let no corrupt communication come out of your mouth. You're not saved. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm telling you what thus saith the Lord. If there's corrupt communication coming out of your mouth, you don't know God. Church is not going to help you. You need to fall on your face and cry out to God and stop playing with God. Stop playing in his face. Stop acting like you know him and you don't. It's going to go bad for you. It's going to go real bad for you. But I'm not going to do you like Jeremiah doing. Jeremiah say, let cries be heard from the houses. Deliver the children to famine and pour out the blood by the force of the sword. Let them be killed. Jeremiah had enough of it, because he was a young man, and all he was trying to do is, God told me to tell y'all, ... and their response is, we gonna kill you. I think I would be pretty upset too. And some of them was hitting him and throwing him in dungeons and jails. If that's not happening to you, again, right now, I thank God I'm not in that time period. But I know I'm being hated. Nobody wants to hear what I'm saying. Most of you don't even listen to these videos. Some might click because they think it's something that they can see, or y'all heard this? Go listen to that. They listening for something. But nobody is like listening to what thus saith the Lord. How God says you don't know him and how you need to change before it's too late. None of y'all are listening to that. Because if you were, your life would change. You'll be crying out to God. God, I've been playing church for over 40, 50 years. God, help me. And you're not doing it. It makes you angry that I am telling you that you don't know God. And if you had your way, all the things that you would do. God knows it. God knows your heart. God knows your heart. So I'm going to say this. And honestly, just like I said, the video I made talking about Trump and what Trump is about to do to y'all. I said, I pray that's my last time making that tight video, trying to warn these people about what's about to happen. And I'll say it in this. I hope this is my last time. I do. Because it's frustrating. It really is. But I thank God I'm not being beat and hit and thrown in dungeons. I thank God for that. But the day he tells me don't say another word, I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to run throughout this house, all outside, jumping and clapping and running, rolling all over in the grass. Yes. Because it's like I'm tired. I'm truly tired of trying to warn people who are not listening. And I know you're not listening. And it's not me warning you. It's God. It's not me you hate. It's God. Y'all take care.